Good evening, everyone. Just letting you know I'm here. I'm having some technical difficulties with my cameras for some reason, so I'm gonna try and get those fixed, and hopefully I will be visible to you all in a minute. So I'll let you guys keep chatting in the chat. Uh, but I'm here, and I'll be here in a minute. Okay, I got it working, everybody. All right, after unplugging literally everything and plugging literally everything back in, we're here. We're back. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Weekly Weathering and More. Sorry for the delay. You know, technology. What a wonderful thing it is. But anyways, how's everybody doing? Hopefully everyone is doing well. I had a very fun weekend getting some more ops in. Last weekend I was down in last weekend I was out in Syracuse. This past weekend I was down on Long Island for IslandOps, doing even more operations, which was a ton of fun. Glad to hear, Andy. So I have a good chunk of pictures and videos to share from IslandOps. We'll just kind of go through some highlights, just like I did last weekend with Ops, or Ops to your job. That's what was last weekend. Too many things. But so that is true. I did get to a less Long Island as well while I was down there. You are absolutely right, Andy, and we will get to that for sure. Hello? Can you hear me now? Oh man. Was that the whole time that you saw me that was not there? I forgot to click the button. Good to see everyone. I see Adam, Paul, Andy, Garrett, Mother Slug. Great to see you all. 30 seconds. Okay, good. I don't know what Oh, I know what I did. Okay. Let me do something. There we go. Okay. So now it should not change again. I hit undo so I could make my corner camera small as I'm prepping, so I can get the screen capture going, so I can start to share my weekend. And I hit undo, which undid unmuting my microphone. So I've remuted my mic. But glad I got that sorted. But yeah, so alright, so let's we're gonna start here with my Google Photos here, which is mostly stuff from my phone, and then we'll jump to my camera with some more videos. But so got out to Long Island via Metro North and the LIRR. Met up with Mr. Ed O'Connell at Central Islip Station. I had to wait for a little while because Ed was stuck in traffic on the LIE. So I got a video of this M8 arriving and leaving. If the video will ever load here. Because of course, why would things load when I want them to? Come on. Again, technology. Simply wonderful. Alright. I don't know what's going on here. Why the video... Oh, there we go. There's the video playing. So yeah, there's the M8 departing. And this is on the Ronkonkoma line. Just, I think it was a couple stations. Maybe one station shy of Ronkonkoma. But yeah, so Metro North from down the Hudson down to Grand Central. At Grand Central, I had some lunch and then hopped onto the LIRR out to... Shush. No music. We're gonna go no music tonight because I don't want to deal with ads. Yeah, no worries, Mother Slug. It's all good. I missed a couple streams as well, so. But so, yeah, LIRR from Grand Central to Jamaica, and I was supposed to transfer at Jamaica, but I had just waited there for a little bit. I waited for, I think, 2 trains to Ronkonkoma before I hopped on, to give Ed some more time to get through traffic on the Long Island Expressway, which was a joke. There was no expressing to be had there. So then, Friday night, and that was all Friday morning, late morning, early afternoon. Friday night, I went to Lou DeRosso's Conrail Boston line. He models the Conrail in the 1990s. From State Line, New York, between New York and Massachusetts, is east staging, that's west staging, and Palmer, Mass is east staging, and he is planning on expanding the layout a little bit to get some more of Massachusetts in there, but it was it was good. I had a lot of fun. It was an interesting layout because it wasn't super. The first thing I've got here is the time lapse of me doing the local job, but there wasn't a ton of switching on his layout. It was more so, it was mainline running layout, where you took a train from one end to the other. You maybe stopped in the yard, picked up 5 cars, dropped off 5 cars, which the yard is West Springfield, Mass. And then you go from one end of the layout to the other. They're basically reversing loops at each end of the layout. So you bring your train back into staging, and it's facing the other direction. And then once you once you go the other way, hey Kyle, once you're ready for, after a few trains run, that same train will run. If it ran from east to west, that same train will run west to east. So it's the same handful of trains over the railroad a bunch of times over the session, but it was a lot of fun. So this was running the local, and the operators this session were myself, Mr. Ed O'Connell, and then the venerable Don Iris and Mark Herrick, which it was great to get to know those guys better. And then Lou was there. His father Lou was there, and his son Lou was there. So it was Louis was his father, Lou was him, and Louis was his son, and they were all helping us out. And then there was one other guy who I think his name was Dave, potentially. I don't remember. But he was the Springfield yard master, and he had a good time too. So yeah, time lapse, just doing some switching to this industrial park. It was a good time. It was a neat little switching move. There goes the coal train by, and then I think I got so up there, that's staging. There goes the TV6 or TV9, one of those trailer van trains that Conrail ran. And then I got some good video here and some good pictures. Let me unmute this so you can get those GE chugs. Lots of Conrail. Yeah, you would love this layout, Mother Slug. It's a pair of B23s. Made Paul very happy when I shared him a video of these. Yeah, it's a fun layout, Andy. But it's it's, I don't know if I'd maybe go back, but it just didn't have as much switching as I like to have on a layout usually. And as you saw there, I did bring the B&CCS boxcar. This car was originally planned to go out to my buddy Miles out on the West Coast. This guy, B&CCS 22405, which is the only HO scale boxcar of the BNCCS that exists right now.
That's not nice.
I don't know what Siri heard that wasn't nice, but I think this car is going to stay with me from now on. I've just brought it to so many layouts now, and I've kind of grown attached to it. But I've got another 50-foot car that I'm going to paint up for Miles and get sent to him. So that'll go to him, and this one will stay with me. And this will become my kind of layout tour car. But yeah, I bet. This is, like I said, this is the Boston line, so I don't know where you were stationed back in your days working on Big Blue, but yeah. So like I said, a pair of B23s made Paul very happy when I showed him videos and pictures. Here we are. Now we are going westbound, up the grade towards State Line, and these signals appear to be flickering in this video, but I think that's just because of the refresh rate on the camera. Because they were pretty steady in person. Ooh, interesting. Very neat. Okay, Harrisburg. Gotcha. No, Kyle. This is a second trip that I made this past weekend. Last stream was a trip up to Syracuse, which was last weekend for Ops Till You Drop, which was put on by the Central New York Division of the National Model Railroad Association. This weekend was IslandOps, which is down on Long Island and is run ostensibly by, well, it's run by individuals basically, but a lot of it is centered around the West Island Model Railroad Club. Yeah, exactly, Kyle. It's just the camera frame rate matching up with the pulse of the electricity. And some more pictures from that. We got some big road power here. B40-8W, SD40-2, and SP, I think it's a Jeep 50. Maybe a Jeep 60, but I think a Jeep 50. It was on a trailer van train. Where will Ops be this coming weekend? Oh, Lord. I don't know if I could do 3 in a row. I don't know. It would be a lot of fun, but I don't know if I could survive. I may do some switching on my layout, but who knows? Some more pictures of the Dash 8s. So that was Friday night. That was a lot of fun. Saturday, I got 2 sessions in. Saturday morning, we went to Steve Gittleman's Great Lakes and Iron Range, which I semi-prepared for by watching Andy's video on the layout. But this is, as you're walking up to Steve's house is freaking beautiful. I mean, the architectural mind in me, the residential architectural designer that I am, just appreciates the heck out of this house. I mean, the fact that there's this glass clock here on the tower, it's just awesome. Absolutely gorgeous house. But now we go down to what you all are much more interested in, which is the layout. And as I'm sure Andy will attest to as well, this layout is simply phenomenal to look at. This is the staging yard, which is why I only took a picture of this to show off that I did get BNCCS 22405 on this layout as well, which ran around the layout on a through train. But dude, he has so much money. It's incredible. And he's a great guy too. He was a very, very welcoming host. But here we go into the beauty of this layout. This is his Great Lakes scene here. So being the Great Lakes and Iron Range, basically his layout runs from New York to Buffalo, roughly. And this is like, Lake Erie? and it's just off camera here. You'll see it in videos. Yeah, this bridge here continues up over my head behind me. It's incredible. Right over here, just off camera here, is a big ore loading docks that would dump, dump ore, dump coal onto freighters. Yeah, exactly, Kyle. And this is the first scene. There's the city scene, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And this is all HO scale as well, by the way. Just for reference, there's a kid flying a kite. Another overview. This scene is, what would you say, Andy? Probably, what, 6 feet deep? 5 to 6 feet deep. And some of these buildings are probably about 2 feet tall. Did I catch the name of it? No, I didn't. It's not in the picture, and I didn't. What is happening? Okay. It's not in the, I'm sure it might be in the video, but easy 7. Nice. But yeah, so here's 7. Yeah. This is for real, Kyle. I remember him talking to him during the session. And he was saying how he was inspired by the Franklin and South Manchester of George Salios, and I was like, yeah, I can definitely see where that inspiration's coming in. Oh, it's the Mighty Fitz, Edmund Fitzgerald. I did not notice that. Very neat. Here's looking down one of the streets. You just get all the if the picture will ever depixelate. Gotcha. That's really neat. I did not notice that while I was there, Andy, but that's cool. I wish that my internet wasn't. Oh, there we go. Now it's depixelized. I mean, all these people. You got a dog on the corner. You got just so many details. Just all over this layout, and simply phenomenal. Now we're getting around to this. Oh man, like, you could, yeah, absolutely, Kyle. You could tell me that this was like a colorized photograph from the 1930s, and I would believe you. I would not doubt you for a second. The only thing that gives away that scale is just the lack of like facial features on the figures. But from like here, you couldn't tell that. Like, that is just a phenomenal scene. Yeah, it's awesome, Paul. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Streets, that's true, Adam. That would give it away as well. Streets are definitely too clean. So now we're continuing. Let's see, we're continuing westbound, northwest, railroad west. So we're going out of the city here towards the Great Lakes scene. Is the kind of the industrial area of the city where a local comes out of the yard and does some switching here. I took a picture of this because I liked the cement, and it gave me some ideas for my cement plant on how to do lighting and stuff. We got this beautiful brick viaduct, red stone brick viaduct, which is just phenomenal. I'm not sure what this is a video of. Apparently this is a video of nothing. Oh, okay. So, wait, what? I thought I had more pictures. That jumped to the West Island Club. So I thought I had one. All right, I guess I must have more pictures and videos on my camera. But so this was a absolutely phenomenal layout. I mean, just absolutely breathtaking at every turn. So we're going to jump here and work our way back now. So now the last off session for Saturday afternoon, starting around 2, was the West Island Model Railroad Club's Allegheny and Western. West Island Model Railroad Club has 5,600 square feet. There were 50 operators running the layout. And Andy, we'll get to our story in a minute here, but I want to show off some pictures first. But this is, they had a 3-unit set of Alco demo units for their C430s. Absolutely, Paul. This layout is just insane. So a 3-pack of C430 demo units here that I got some pictures of in the yard, and I got a video on my camera of them running on the layout, but very cool units. So I guess, where is that? There it is. Let's jump to here. Since Andy brought it up. So Andy and I were crewmates on this layout. We were both on a local crew, which was a lot of fun. It was great working with you, Andy. Even if we did get a bit turned around. So our first job out was we were switching the Allentown yard local. So basically we were just in yard limits. We did our switching at the engine house where we swapped out an ash car and stuff, and then we did some, what was it? We did some switching at the car shops. So once we finished our job in Allentown, which is the main classification yard on the layout. Yes, Allentown is on the layout. This layout runs, I forget, Andy, what are the terminuses on this layout again? It's Jersey City and Pittsburgh, maybe? I can never remember what staging is. But Allentown is the main classification yard on this layout. We did switch cars. That was actually very cool. We did switch cars on the turntable, which was very neat. Point A to point. That works. That'll do it, Garrett. Reading and Allentown. Reading, those were the in-between yards. I was talking about staging. I don't remember what staging is, and I'm not sure if you remember either, but it was, I mean, it travels a long ways. But so Allentown yard was very cool because they had a functioning hump yard where, a crew would take cars out of the bowl or shove cars down the hill into the bowl and use that for classification and stuff like that. It was very cool. I think I got a little bit of video. Never got there. Okay. I wasn't sure. I know they have a second level, which one staging area is Maybrook. And that's the only staging area that I remember because I know Maybrook. It is a freelance railroad based on a prototype. So it is the definition of proto-freelancing, pretty much. The Allegheny and Western is not a real railroad, but it's kind of this amalgamation of PRR, CNJ, and I think Erie and Lackawanna lines across Pennsylvania and New Jersey. But so getting back to Andy and I here, our second job was a local turn out of Reading, where we switched 2 towns, a town that starts with an L that I can't remember, and the town of Hershey, Pennsylvania. I can't remember what town. Yeah, it really is an amalgamation of the anthracite roads. And it's set in like roughly the 60s, 50s, 60s. There's, a couple of steam locomotives still hanging around in each engine terminal, but they really are not used. It's mainly, first and second gen diesels. So our second job was a local out of Reading. where we switched Hershey. And if we had read the instructions a little more carefully, we would have seen you go to the first town, you do your switching on the north side of that town, you drop all the cars that aren't going to Hershey, and then you continue to Hershey and do your switching there, because there's only so much space in the town of Hershey that you have to do your switching. We didn't read that. So we kind of just blew straight through into the town of Hershey and figured we would do the rest of our switching on our return leg. There was not enough space in the town of Hershey to have our whole train there. What you can see right here, this was about all the space that we had to do any switching. We had to switch these 2 tracks, 1 car at a time. It was all facing point, and we had no car space. Curious, this picture is where... So the lower level here, this is Hershey, PA. The upper level was one of the yards. I don't remember. I have to see if I can find a track diagram of this for my video to kind of explain things a little better. Actually, let me see if I can find a track diagram right now. West Shore Model, no, West Island Model Railroad Club track diagram. Images. Here we go. Open image in new tab. That's what I want. Okay. There we have it. Enola is, that's what it is. So Enola is the 1 yard and Jersey City is the other staging yard. And you go from Jersey City to Bayonne to Easton to Bethlehem to Allentown to Topton to Reading to Enola. Yeah, Allentown was really, I mean, when this says Allentown is here, it literally means from here to here was the Allentown passenger terminal, and then from here to here was Allentown Yard. Bethlehem Steel was modeled. From here to here was all Bethlehem Steel. I got it in my kind of walkthrough video, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But that was pretty neat. This layout is just incredible. I had just a very brief kind of run through. I didn't get any pictures of it, but I have video of it. Let's see if I can just real quick pull up. So let's pull up Bethlehem Steel. Steak. Bethlehem Steak. No, Bethlehem Steel. Yeah, LV. Yes, that it's like all of those anthracite, all of those roads across PA and New Jersey, all in there. No, that's not it. All right, we'll get to it in the video. We'll get to Bethlehem Steel, but let me see if I can quickly pull up. Actually, let me just do this. Oh, excuse me. Yes, the steel mill does still exist. It is. I was there last summer for the N-Scale Enthusiast N-Scale show. It was in Bethlehem at the Wind Creek Casino, which is right next to the old steel mill. Here's the whole crew. This is everyone who was. This is pictures West Island Club posted. This is the whole crew here. That was posted. That was running the layout. There's the whole call board. This is what's the town? Here's a shot looking along Bethlehem Yard, or not Bethlehem, Allentown Yard. Paul, it's here every year. This is a shirt that's there every a layout that's there every year. I looked on the right and saw Dave Abley's comment about shirt. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, you talking about the N scale enthusiast? No, this year it's going to be in KC. This year's going to be in Kansas City. It moves around all over the place, but exactly, Andy. 50 people, insane. This is a shot looking along Allentown Yard. So this right here is the east end of the bowl at the bottom of the hump. This is a club layout. Yes. This is the West Island Model Railroad Club in Hicksville, New York. That's where it is. It's on Long Island. Let's see. There's the Allentown Engine Terminal. Let's see. Are there any shots of Bethlehem Steel? Here's Easton, PA. Oh, there's Bethlehem Steel. Here it is. There's the Bethlehem steel mills as modeled. I didn't have any pictures. I had a video of it, but not in as it was being worked. There we are. There's staging. Yep, that was the Easton Passenger Station Mother Slug. You got it. But anyway, so that's that. So yeah, we got ourselves pretty well jammed up here in Hershey. Long story short, we had to do like one car at a time switching, and we had to do some. Don't tell the dispatcher this, but we had to foul the main a couple of times on accident to get our moves done, and we had to do a little bit of pushing around, but it was good. It was fun. It was difficult to get everything done with how we got ourselves into the pickle, but it was fun. Yes, Dave Barraza was the dispatcher, and I'm sure he was not too happy with you, Andy. I was just following the instructions of my conductor, so I'm, my hands are washed of this situation. But just a touch of 050 action. You know how it goes. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And it genuinely was a lot of fun working with you, Andy, and kind of, working through the bed that we laid for ourselves. So let's jump to some of the videos on the West Island Club that I had here. So after the op session was done, I got some of these videos. These are videos of trains of RIT alum who were there. There were a few RIT alum. There was I'm so bad at names. I know Jonathan was there. I know whoops. That's not what I wanted. Go away. Elliot was there. There was someone else that I can't remember. I'm so bad at names, but it was good. It was cool to get to know them and see that. How tall am I? I am 5'10". Andy, you're what, like 6'1", 6'2", roughly? So it's Mother's like you would loom over us. But so these are, I can't remember for the life of me what 6'2", yeah. I can't remember for the life of me what his name was who was running this train, even though I was talking with him for like 40 minutes. So I was jumping back and forth at this time between watching the RIT alums run their trains on the layout and into, yeah, maybe a little bit. So I was watching the RIT alum run their trains, and then I was jumping in after. So after the op session was done, we had dinner at the layout there in the little kind of club room space, which was an Italian and American sub, nice big Italian American sub, which was very nice. I don't think it was John. It was one of the younger guys. I can't remember what his name was, but yeah, exactly, Kyle. But so the coal cars actually on this train, the coal cars were all the club's cars, and this guy just added on his LNN and ICG power and an ICG caboose, and ran it around the layout. The other train, which was run by, I think, Jonathan, who was another RIT alum, that train is all his. And we'll get to that in a minute here. But Charles, that was it. Thank you, Garrett. There it was. So there goes the L&N Jeep 38 or SD38-2s and the ICG SD40-2. There's I think at Easton. Flying eastbound. Here's Jonathan's train. I don't think so. I think he's actually working near me in Beacon, but I'm not certain. I know he was just down there for the weekend. It was him, Jonathan, Elliot, and then who else was there? Oh my god, what's his name? Why is my brain? Phil. Where it was down there. Oh, Jackson, not Jonathan. Jackson. Thank you. Thank you, Garrett, for for being my mental check here. I'm not sure. I think you may be the only one right now. But so we, I just got some videos of that, and I shared these to Jackson, and he shared them with Charles and with and they enjoyed themselves. But so I got this shot here. I just put my car on I didn't get to run my car around this layout just because I didn't have anything to run it with, and there was no way I was going to try and squeeze it into the op session, because it would need paperwork and this and that and the other thing. But I did get a video of a train going by with it on the layout, and that is close enough for me. So BNCCS 22405 visited the West Island Club and the Allegheny and Western. It's an Allegheny and Western coal car next to the BNCCS boxcar. So, and Jackson's train is very nice. He did some really great weathering on it. So beautiful consist up front, beautiful weathering on the cars in the back. So Eugene, welcome in. Doing quite well, thank you. I'm sharing some videos and pictures. There we go. So now we're back to the centuries. Sharing some videos and pictures from this weekend when I was down on Long Island for IslandOps. So we're going to now the third layout that I went to, which was, that was Saturday night. Ton of fun at the West Island Club, the Allegheny and Western, beautiful layout. If you ever get a chance to visit them, do it. It is so incredibly worth it. Really? That's pretty cool. I'm not sure, Mother Slug. High to low to high. I think really what it is it's just whatever order they are in the car slots. Like, it's not like they're intentionally doing a high hopper and then a low hopper and a high hopper and then a low hopper and a high hopper. I think it's just kind of however the consist gets built. Oh, you can answer it? Oh, in that case, yeah, go for it. I'm not sure. I sure wish I did. That would be pretty fun, Ray. Welcome in. We are halfway through my IslandOps well, just over halfway through my IslandOps experience at this point in the live stream. We just visited the West Island Model Railroad Club, which is the Allegheny and Western freelance. It is. Okay. No, I'm not sure. But yeah, so Ray, we are, we're making our way through my time on the island. Like I said, this was on the West Island Club, which I just finished up sharing some pictures and videos. And now we are moving on to Gittleman again. Saturday morning, I was at Steve Gittleman's HO scale Great Lakes and Iron Range. Sunday morning, I was at Steve Gittleman's G-Gauge, G-Gauge, wasn't it? Chichester and Sweet Hollow. Which, for anyone who is unfamiliar... Oh, interesting. That makes sense. That makes sense, Mother Slug. Yeah, the weather held up pretty good. Pretty good. For us while we were at the Chichester and Sweet Hollow. So this right here, you can see in the background my camera there. For scale, this is, G-Gauge. It is quite large. There's Dennis for scale. So, it was a lot of fun running G-Gauge. For those who don't know about the Chichester and Sweet Hollow, it is, I think, a half-mile run. I think it was a quarter mile run. It's either a quarter mile or a half-mile run. Either way, very long run. And it is 40 feet in elevation change. That they do, Ray. Although I don't know, there certainly weren't any high cubes on this layout. Quarter mile. Okay, thank you, Andy. That's what it was. Half mile down and back, down the hill and back up the hill. I know. I should have had my banana for scale, but I just used the Dennis for scale instead. Yeah, 40 feet in elevation difference. So you go from a barn way down the hill on Steve's property, all the way up the hill to by his house. And it's a quarter mile from one end to the other. So I got a nice, some nice walk in it. I probably walked down and back. I probably walked like a mile and a half. Just running trains on the Chichester and Sweet Hollow. But so my first job was I unfortunately did not get to be on the gravel train, but and I didn't even get the chance to really see it because it was coming up the hill. I got to see it as it just left Barnesville, which is the barn, and then I got to see it on its way down the hill. But I did get to catch them dumping out coal, or gravel. So the neat thing about the Chichester and Sweet Hollow is it's based on I think it was just east of Middletown, Connecticut. There was a rail line that had a trestle, a spindly little trestle going over a low area, and they needed to fill in. Basically, the railroad decided to infill with various types of aggregate, infill the trestle so that it was just a large fill, basically a mound that the railroad tracks ran over, so that the rail line could support heavier train cars and heavier trains in general. So Steve is sort of recreating that. the biggest and most important job on this layout was the gravel train, which was a 40 car side dump hoppers or side dump gondolas that ran from Barnville down the hill all the way up the hill through 40 feet of elevation change through 3 loops. It's like 3% grades at some point, to the top of the hill, where the cars would then get dumped onto a trestle to infill the trestle. The cars themselves are probably about 100 pounds, in total, the whole train empty. Then they added probably another 200 pounds or so of gravel to those cars. So it was a very heavy train going up the hill. It was, let's see, what was the power? So they had an ABBA set of F3s in New York Central paint, or F7s? F3s or F7s in New York Central paint on the head end. They had 4 Alco RS3s as mid-train helpers, and they had a pair of something else on the back shoving. It was maybe Jeep 30s. I can't remember. As helpers. So it was a massive train. And they got it up the hill, but it was a haul. But I unfortunately didn't get to see too much of it running, other than as it was departing, and I didn't get a chance to shoot any video of it, which is kind of sad. But so I was running some merchandise trains throughout the day after the RDC. So there's I had a 4882. There's the length of my train there, and I have a 282 Mikado helping push me at the bottom from Dom, who was the engineer on that one. I think it's actually a 2882, not a 4882. I lied, but 1421 there was. She's a beautiful locomotive, and she was able to haul quite a bit, but just not quite enough that we didn't. We definitely needed the helper, and actually at a point we needed some more helpers. No, it's coal. It's a coal-fired locomotive. You can see the coal tender there. It's just got a Vanderbilt tank, so it doesn't have the square. Excuse me. Doesn't have the square water tank. It has a rounded water tank. All good. All good. Most oil-fired locomotives do have Vanderbilt-style tenders, so it's an easy mistake to make. But yeah, the length is absolutely insane, Paul. 100%. Yeah, Andy, it's... I mean, I saw at the end of your video from the Great Lakes and Iron Range, you showed off the VL1000 running on it, and it's... In the snow, it's pretty sweet, too. But it's kind of nice seeing some greenery around it. Here's the... as we're getting towards the end of the train here, I think at this point, so the 288 or the 282 that was shoving us from the rear, was having some motor issues on Sunday. So we got up the first loop of the 3 loops on the railroad, and its motor started to overheat. So Dom cut it off, held it there, let it cool down for a while. Basically, we went up to the next siding. Once Dom felt that the locomotive was cooled down enough, he caught back up to us and helped shove us up some more. And then, let's see. Excuse me. There was a point where, at the 3rd loop, coming up the hill, we still couldn't quite make it. The train was just too heavy. My locomotive here started really slipping. So we got the 4 RS3s that were the mid-train helpers for the gravel train to basically hook onto our head end because they were heading back down the hill to the yard in Barnesville, so they could be used on another train theoretically. And they basically hooked onto our head end and helped to pull us that last little bit. So we had 4 RS3s, 2882, like 50-foot long train, and then a 282 pushing on the rear, which was awesome. And I think I have video of that on my camera. So we'll go through some stuff on the camera in a minute here. But yeah, rail box. Yeah, I've got a few rail boxes in N scale, but it's just not really, doesn't really make sense in G gauge, or at least not in this layout in G gauge. So this is, we're kind of almost to the top of the hill here, and I panned over this way because I think it's interesting. It's just kind of cool to see the scale of where we are, and also right here you can see another train coming down the loops. There it is, right there. Coming down the loops as it goes down the hill. On Steve's property. There's our helper engineer, Dom. So, that's it for IslandOps officially. At least as far as stuff on my phone. We'll go through a couple videos on my camera. But so that's where the official... Oh, let's go. Let's go, Mets. That is good news, my friend. So, like I said, that's it for the official... That was the official end of IslandOps, was Gittleman's G-Scale for me. However, you might notice a rather small layout in my pictures here. Because they were in the area, Don Iris, Mark Herrick, and Ed O'Connell all wanted to get to run Heath's Riverside transfer layout. And since I was riding with Ed, I got to visit Heath's Riverside transfer layout, and Heath held what he called a rogue ops session for those 3, plus a secret guest, Mr. John Farrington. And I'm not sure if I'm really spilling the beans for Heath there, but it was great to meet John in person, and kind of, really get to know him a little bit and do some work with him. So I was rail fanning for about half of the ops. Well, not rail fanning. I was just hanging out and chatting for about half the ops section at Heath's. This is Saturday evening. He did post. Okay, that's right. He did. I forgot. Okay, I was like, I didn't want to spill the beans, but it was super cool to meet John face to face and really get to know him a little bit. But yeah, Heath's layout was running phenomenally. This was cool. I got a nice pano here of Heath's layout at night. So let's go from, this is Croton Harmon Yard. We've got Heath. We've got Don working Croton Harmon Yard. We've got Mark right here. Mark was the end-to-end road engineer who brought stuff back and forth between the yards. He was in the yard getting some cars from Don. Behind him right here, we've got Ed. Ed was basically there to throw a monkey wrench in everything, according to Heath. He was basically there to bring mainline trains from Selkirk onto the layout and screw Don up and slow him down, as well as do some local switching work. We continue around to Manhattanville. There is John working Riverside Yard, and my panel didn't quite make it to the float bridge, but it was great. It was a great session. We got almost all the work done, which I'm sure Heath will hopefully talk about on Wednesday. But I noticed this for the first time, which I thought was very funny. Great to great for Heath to have put this on his layout. This is in Manhattanville. I never noticed that before, but it is very nice. It's very fun. I caught this this nice string of 3 cars here. Coming into Riverside Yard, we've got Somerset and a Raritan car. Riverside transfer, or Somerset and Raritan 2-bay covered hopper, Riverside transfer 2-bay covered hopper, and a Virginia Midland boxcar, all coming into Riverside Yard as a triplet, which I thought was a nice little photo op of some good freelancing. And then once so after probably 2 nice. Well, Lynn did a good job with that building. It's very fun. So Don and Mark had to leave around probably 6. The session started at around 2:30. Ed and I didn't get there till around 3:30 probably, just due to traffic getting onto the island of Manhattan, as well as leaving Steve's a little later than we otherwise would have, because we were having some food. But once Don and Mark had to leave, Heath said, "All right, Dennis, you're here. You're taking over Riverside. You're taking over Croton Harmon Yard from Don." And Don was, of course, using the proto throttle. So I got the really fun opportunity to, for the first time in my life, work with the proto throttle. It was a lot of fun. There's Ed, who took over for Mark, and there's Heath running a switching job. Well, I think at this point, yeah, we did put, Ed and I became the second shift. I think John at this point was taking a snack break outside, which is why he's not in this video. But I tell you, working with the proto throttle, very fun. Sparky, good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the rogue session of Island Ops from this weekend. Yes, absolutely it did. And for anyone who doesn't know what a proto throttle is, this right here, this green box that I've got my hand on, is the proto throttle. It is basically a DCC throttle designed to mimic the functionality of a control stand on a diesel locomotive. So you get the horn lever on the top there. You've got notch 1 through 8, and there is some setup that you have to do in the decoder settings to basically turn on almost infinite momentum, activate the braking features, things like that. But and make sure it's all mapped on the proto throttle. But you have to actually use the reverser instead of just a directional button to set the direction of the locomotive. You have to use notch. You have to kind of slowly notch up. So Mother Slug, you would probably love these, because it'd be just like, well, you'd either love them or hate them, because it's just like running the real thing. But it was a blast for me to use. It was so much fun. I'd never actually gotten to run a train with one. Like I'd had my hands on one at shows and like fiddled with it, but it's just it's so satisfying to run a train with. But yeah, so that was, I think that's the end of my phone photos. So we will have to jump over to my camera photos now. But as we are doing that, Sparky, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. It's good to have you here. We're, like I said, going over my time in down on Long Island for Island Ops. I had a blast. We just got through all of my most of my pictures and videos from my phone. Now we're gonna jump, if I can find the right folder. Well, I guess it works then, Andy. But yeah, so I guess I'm jumping over to stuff on my camera. We're gonna just quickly blast through some of that, and then we're gonna kind of wrap stream hopefully around 11. But here we go. So now we're jumping back to the beginning of the weekend, and we're going to work our way to the end of the weekend. So this is back on Lou DeRosso's Conrail Boston line. This is a pair of SD80 Max that he had running, I think these run the Coltrane. But I got some nice action shots of these. I was pretty happy with those. These 80 Max are great. Yeah, busy night, but sounds like fun though, Sparky. I really wish I could get up there this year, but it's just not in the cards for me this year. Garrett, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Take care of yourself. Get some rest. And I'll see you around. Have a great night, my friend. But yeah, these 80 Max were really cool. I think these are I think he said these are the Kata models, however you want to say it. I don't care. They're cool and they sounded great. Here's some action shots of my my B-23s for you there, Paul. If you're still awake and haven't fallen asleep on me. Yeah, we sure didn't let you forget there, did we, Garrett? This is a -9 C-8 C40-8W. Yeah, I'll go back to those for you some more, Paul. I was pretty happy with these action shots. Yeah, lots of big blue on this layout. It was all big blue except for there was one Guilford engine and one SP engine, and I think that was it for foreign power. Everything else was Conrail. So that was picked all the pictures. Oh yeah, we're in the background. You could just barely see it. We did run the OCS train, which was really great. Now we're jumping to the Allegheny and Western, which was the third layout I went to, which was the West Island Model Railroad Club. As far as pictures go, we're jumping there. I guess I did. I only took pictures on my phone of the Great Lakes and Iron Range. But here's A&W Alco RS RS11. Yeah, gotcha. Interesting, Mother Slug. Yeah, I know that I knew that the ride was phenomenal. That's why they were called the Cadillacs. But yeah, I guess they just struggled electronically, huh? Interesting. But so this is a Allegheny and Western RS11 shoving back with a cut of cars. This is after the op session. I jumped around with BNCCS 22403 and got some pictures of it with various Allegheny and Western power. So here's with is this a standard SD40 or is this a SD45 or maybe an SD50? I don't know. The lighting in this is an Allentown yard. The lighting in Allentown was a little dull, a little dim. Oh wait, what's that? I think it is a SD45. I think I see some flared radiator here. Something I thought was pretty funny was you had the A and W and the Allegheny and Western across the middle for their oval emblem. But when you kind of zoom out like this, it looks like the bat logo, which I think is really funny. So I kept pointing that out to people and giving people a good chuckle that the A and W logo there looks like the bat logo, the bat symbol. Here we go with some chop nose RS units, I think. Or maybe these are C420s. These might be C420s. But I thought this was a very ironic place for this water bottle to have been set down at the club. So that's why I took a picture of it. And then some more pictures of the Chichester and Sweet Hollow. And now we're on to some more videos.
Springfield.
So here's a kind of quick walkthrough of the Conrail Boston line. There's West Springfield Yard down there. You go through this right here is all staging. You go through a helix right behind the MRL car there, up 2 loops, and then here into
So back on yourself. This is Westfield.
Westfield, Mass.
So you're gonna have your own.
Continue. There's the interchange at Westfield.
And they're gonna come out.
There's Lou, our landowner, Hinsdale, Mass.
One of the crew. That's a job that's gonna get bid out. And all your job is to do is to oversee operations.
Well, very interesting, Mother's Luck. Yeah, that would make for a very different layout. So this is up the third level up here, and that's staging at State Line right here. So.
You're TV9, right?
TV9, that's me.
There we go. There's a little switching there, and this will be when I put these all together into a full video. It'll be a lot nicer. Here's that -8 SD40-2 and Jeep 40 Jeep 50 lash up. I think it's a Jeep 50. But that we will. So this is TV9, I want to say, which was one of the Conrail intermodal trains. TV, of course, standing for trailer van, which is where all these intermodals are, the concept of intermodal transport came from, was the trailer van.
Have fun.
So here goes TV9 eastbound towards State Line. I don't think it was a Jeep 30. It didn't have the hump over the cab like the 30s have. I think it was either a 40 or a 50. But, in any case. Oh, well, we'll get one more shot of it, and then we'll be able to see. -8, wide cab, 40-2, and so packed. Yeah, it's definitely not a Jeep 30 because it doesn't have the hump up here. Someone could look up Southern Pacific 7644 to know for sure, but it's either a 40 or a 50. There's the Central Vermont interchange, Jeep 40-2. There we go. There it is. Thank you, sir. So NECR and CV, that's the other foreign power, but that's because this is the Central Vermont interchange here that Ed was switching out. Here we got a gray C39-8 right here, which was ostensibly for gravel service, but I guess occasionally they found their way into mainline service, and it's on this mainline train here waiting in Palmer. Here we got the Lake Shores Limited going eastbound. Or, actually no, this is the lower levels. This is moving westbound right now. No, eastbound. I was right. This is eastbound. This is the Boston section of the Lake Shores. That we did, Paul. That we did. Actually, I'll jump back to that for a minute here. This yellow building here, Paul, this is going to become the steaming tender. So, just kind of jump through here a little bit. Keep things muted so that you don't get horribly blasted. I did not know. Yes, rarity for it to be on time for sure, Paul. Actually, when Lou was handing out the assignment for it, he said, "All right, you get to run the Always Late Shore Limited." That's right. There was also this foreign power. There's the Santa Fe Snoot Nose. The steaming tender Mother Slug is a former station that was turned into a restaurant in Palmer, Massachusetts, which is right at the interchange between, nowadays it's CSX and the New England Central. Originally it was the Central Vermont and the Boston and Albany. There's a diamond there where the two railroads crossed. The station was built there to serve both railroads. Now it's a great restaurant, really good food, decent prices, and the opportunity to watch trains out either window sometimes. Let's mute that again. There's those 80 Max. Oh, the bridge into the yard area? That is West Springfield, Massachusetts. There goes those Cadillacs. Those are on the racks.
Camera there.
Oh, here we go. There's that Ballast Express loco. We got a C30-7, C39-8, and a C30-7. I think I can't remember these are 30 straight C30-7s or C30-7As. The difference is very minor, so I'm not sure what the spotting is.
Yep, just pull those engines forward, uncouple them, and pull them into that little pocket right in front. Oh, I see.
I'm not sure how to spot it, the difference there. So, let's keep jumping around. Yeah, the C30-9, C39-8. C39-8s are very distinctive because of they've got the rounded parts of like the -7 line, but then the squared off cab of the -8. It's super neat. I can't quite bring myself to get one because it's just not quite the area, and because they were mostly on this line, on the Boston line, but I can't quite bring myself to get one because it's a little too modern for me. There goes the executives. 2 executive E8s and the a short executive train today, a four car OCS. Not an F unit, no. Is it EMD E8As? There's that Guilford power up there, but let's see if I'll catch. Yeah, I did catch it. Okay. Oh no, this is not it. This is the executives going through again. Oh, this is my local. This is my local doing westward move. Eastward move. Keep screwing those up. It's departing the yard, I guess. Alright, let's jump ahead to the next layout, I think. Here we are. So here's a... Can I speed this video up? No. Okay. So this is a walkthrough. Nope. So this is a walkthrough of Steve Gittleman's Great Lakes and Iron Range. There's let me restart this. So this is the yard. This is actually where I was working. I was doing switching here in the yard all day in Harbor Yard. I was the yard master here. So actually I wasn't doing switching, I was directing switching. But this was a fun job. But you can just get a sense of how big this city scene is compared to the HO scale trains.
How was the journey here? Not too bad. Until I crossed the Peroxide Bridge, I was fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then it all crashed.
There's that big, deep city scene. Absolutely mind-blowing, breathtaking. There's Ed for scale, Ed O'Connell there in there. You can just get a scale for how big some of these buildings are. Here's Don looking down the hill, down the tracks, so we get into the harbor scene.
Long time no see, gentlemen. No. It's phenomenal, oh my lord.
Here's the harbor.
Gorgeous.
The car float and all that. Big stone bridge again. Everywhere you look, there are just these little details on this layout, which, I mean, this whole scene, I mean, this could easily have just been a track along the corner here, but it's just, instead it's this great tall scene with this power plant up on the hill and all sorts of stuff.
Absolute work of art. Oh, and it just keeps going.
What I said.
Morning, sir.
So this, I didn't mean to go back this far. Oops.
This is just an absolute.
So this up here, this is the branch line up to the there's the bridge overhead that goes to the ore docks, which we'll get to in a minute. We'll get around to that.
Bobcat or something?
Figure out where I put my phone so I can make the alarm silenced.
Thunderstorm up in the mountains.
Oh, neat. I'm sure some people would find that quite annoying, but I don't. Somehow I think I would not find that annoying at all.
And continuing westbound.
What the heck? Oh goodness, I'm still very sleepy from this weekend. As I think you would probably be able to understand.
Big ol' engine
As you hear him right now, oh nice. So now this is the yard at the west end of the layout. So I guess this would be Buffalo or Rochester. I think this is maybe Rochester. I'm not sure. 40-2s, nice.
We've made a loop back to Rochester.
There you go. Here's Rochester. So now we turn around and look back
Upper level.
at the upper level. So this is what Andy was saying when it goes up above. Yeah, I assumed radio. That makes sense. Here's that massive girder bridge.
Phenomenal see this is.
There's apparently the Edmund Fitzgerald. Mighty Fitz. Getting some ore loaded.
T-Bang.
And a much smaller freighter getting ore loaded. That's the big ore docks. And you're right up top. Oh no. No. The name the names are real. The scenery is quite fictitious. It's inspired by he likes to say his layout was inspired by a combination of the New York Central and the Great Northern.
Sure.
So,
For the Orf.
yep, exactly right. Exactly right, Mother Slug. That big red ship is based on the song that song is based on. So here's a train coming in through my yard. This is one of the passenger jobs that ran across the layout.
Did it go away already? I didn't report clear ID.
So as you can see here, there was a time, for a period of time, the lights dimmed way down, and the layout went into night mode.
Sorry, gentlemen, I'm just gonna sneak by you.
Which made for some pretty beautiful scenery, with the lights being all on and everything. Phenomenal. There's someone working the ore dock. So we got an ore train going up above towards the ore docks. And then we got a through freight coming down below, a pair of Alco FAs. And if you look closely towards the end of the train here, you might spot a familiar boxcar. Ah, there's my phone.
BW3 OS Canyon siding E-switch.
There goes the BNCCS boxcar. Alright, let's now jump ahead here even further to now we're at the West Island Club. Let's go through my quick walkthrough. If you want to see more about this layout, there are some really great, like almost hour-long guided walkthroughs of this layout. This is not one of those. This is a 7-minute fly-through of this layout. I don't just absolutely zooming through. There are those C430s. Now we're into, I think, Bayonne. I think this is Bayonne. On the lower level. The upper level there, that's Chester, New York. That's going into Maybrook. So this is the, like, Erie line that cut north from the New York Metro. Or actually, really more the Jersey City Metro. Cut north through like Rockland County and Orange County, New York, to Maybrook. So that's what that upper level here is. The lower level is the main line continuing westward.
Go in here. Oh, that's where the two lines break as we come around.
There's Plainfield. Now we're into Pennsylvania, so we're
into PA.
so we're out of New Jersey now. There's the bridges as we come around the corner. Easton Railroad Station.
There's an Alco's knocking around over there. Keep going this direction. Oh, we got a big...
Here's Bethlehem Steel Mills.
Oh, here's the blast. Oh, here's the hole. Bethlehem Mill. Steel Mill. I'm sorry if this is just like such a breeze through, but there's just so much to look at. I want to give a general overview, and then while I'm operating, we will see what we see, and I don't know where I'm going to wind up, but wherever I wind up, I'll try and catch whatever I can. And whatever I can't catch, maybe next year. But with a layout this big, there's only so much you'll be able to see in one video in 1 year. If you want a more in-depth overview, there are some great tours available online already. There's a good hour-long one that is available that is, I believe, semi-guided tour through the whole layout. So if you want to check that out, please feel free to.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna give a brief flyover tour.
Trying to not talk over my.
We're now in Allentown, PA, and this is where the major passenger terminal here.
I'm trying hard to not talk over myself here. I'm just.
Passenger train facility, and we make our way around to the
Is that?
engine facility and into
I'll just let myself talk.
freight yard, the major classification yard on the layout.
So as you walk through here, you will see the hump down at the end here.
Facility. There's that Alco that's not gonna
Yep, modeled after the Lehigh Valley Station. Yep. This is Allentown Yard. You'll notice a lot of N&W power. That's because that's just what they had in the layout at the time. A lot of their stuff, they don't have decoders fully installed into yet. So, a lot of the run-through power is N&W.
HO scale hump yard.
Here's the hump.
It's just awesome.
Very excited for me to see, very cool for me to see a New England, Berkshire, and Western car out in the wild, because I spent a lot of time with the RPI club, and it's cool to see them. Yeah, a pair of AS16s. I think they were 16. I don't think they were 616s, but pair of Baldwins.
Hump itself, the pocket for the locomotives. Pair of AS616s maybe, or AS16s. Baldwins, one way or the other.
Like I said. So now we're continuing further west of Allentown. So Allentown's roughly halfway. Ooh, something fun. That sounds dangerous, Paul. So this is the most scenic portion of the layout, this upcoming section here. This big
Stone
viaduct is gorgeous.
just gorgeous.
Interesting, Mother's Lug. Very interesting.
Topton, PA. At Mertz Interlocking.
I mean, the layout is simply phenomenal. I got a whole box of parts here today. Whole box of parts.
Behind you. Thanks, man.
The only issue with the parts that I got is I was
We've got two levels again. I lost track of where they started and ended, so I can't really differentiate. Again, I highly recommend if you want a more in-depth.
yeah, like I said, Mother's like it's very. I mean, we crossed basically the entire state of Pennsylvania almost.
Really, just to
So there's a lot of selective compression and selective moving around of things.
Lebanon, PA.
Now so there's Lebanon and Hershey. So that's where Andy and I had our fun.
Huber Yard.
Whoa, what happened? Oh, how did we jump ahead? Whoa, how did we jump so far ahead? We got a lot of trains to see before we get there. Well, maybe not a lot of trains. We got a handful of trains to see at least before we get there. Oh, Oh, here we are. So we were probably 5 minutes in. 6 minutes in. Here we are.
Track, highly recommend if you want to. It's in Topton, PA. Thanks, man.
There we go.
Now we've got 2 levels again. I lost track of where they started and end, so I can't really differentiate. Again, I highly recommend if you want a more in-depth look, go to a better tour.
Yeah, Adam, I don't know what's going on with Kato Parts recently, but I ordered some brake wheels. That's one of the parts I ordered was brake wheels for my RS2 project, and instead they sent me a set of drivers for a FEF 484 locomotive off the Union Pacific. And that's because the drivers are part 932032, and the brake wheels are 933032. So I don't know what's going on with their checking of parts, but
This is just a fly-through, really, just to... Oh, man, it's just...
I think it's just someone's just not being careful about what part they put in the box, Adam.
Here's Hershey, PA.
So, fun fact about Hershey here. We've got the 2 Hershey smokestacks here, but the side of the building is marked explosives. Just a goofy little thing that I noticed. So, and this is the end of the layout here. As we wrap
Portion of the layout.
around the corner here, we are back to staging.
We circle back to the yard.
Yep, yeah, that's what I'll do, Adam. So, Mother Slug, the reason I'm at an HO scale layout here is because these are both so last weekend and this weekend, I was at operating events, basically. Last weekend was Ops Till You Drop in Syracuse, New York, which is a weekend-long operating, basically 3 operating sessions over the course of the weekend. And I don't know if you know what an ops session is, but an ops session is basically running a railroad prototypically. So doing switching, running through trains, running passenger trains, working yards, working the railroad. And this weekend was IslandOps, which was down on Long Island, which was 4 layouts, plus I had an extra in Heath Hurwitz's. But so that's the reason why most of these operating layouts are HO scale. Heath's layout was the only N scale layout there this weekend, and there was nothing N scale last weekend in Syracuse. So that's the reason why me and N scaler is at all these HO scale layouts. Yep. So here's everyone's getting to the yard and figuring out where they are and what they're doing. This is right at the start of the session. So the yard crew. This is the yard master right here. He is jumping back and forth, jumping all around, trying to get trains moving to get the layout started up here. Here's a pair of NW RS3s, which were working in the yard. It is fun, that's for sure. Although if you ask Don, Paul, if you ask Don Iris, he might have some words about magnets. Let's see. We'll watch these Jersey Central F units pull out. The end of that last run around. So this one here, or are you looking at this here? This whole section here? Oh boy, that's exciting. I know I definitely plan on being up there. So yeah, if you do make it out, you should definitely make it to Doug's. Regardless of the fact that it's an N-scale layout and I'm somewhat biased towards it, it is a phenomenal layout. It's a great running layout. It's a lot of fun, the ops, and it's just simply beautiful. You should totally get out there if you do. Yeah, this is Allentown Yard, Mother Slug. here's some Alco units. These are probably C. I can't tell if this is 4 or 6 axle power from this shot. I think this is. Or are these? No, these are GEs. These are U25s. Never mind. Ignore me. I was talking like they were Alcos. No, I'm hearing the Alco power in the yard here rattling around. Yeah, that totally makes sense, Paul, if you're on the fence about it. If you ever make your way out this way anyways, if you let Doug know, a week or two ahead of time, I'm sure he can pull together an op session for you, regardless of when it is. As long as he's in town. Sometimes he goes on trips, but... Hey, you never know if you show up and you got the experience. Let's see if we can get some good. Here are those U-boats. These are Cs. These are U-25 or U-30 Cs. I think 25 Cs. There's our local doing some switching, and here comes an A&W passenger train. But we're going to kind of fly through some of these shots here. Yeah, it's a good shot. Scale, and then wrap up myself, because it is very late, actually. But, oh, this scene here is great with the cows and the barn on the backdrop. Excellently done scene. But, yeah, that was the start of our confusion. I mean, look, I'm a young guy. Gevos are fine. Wide cabs are fine. I would much rather see a standard cab. I'd much rather see, a high-nosed Jeep 9, Jeep 7, RS11, or even better, an RS3 or something. It's just the fact that everything's a wide nose now, it's all, I don't know, it just doesn't have as much character as the standard cabs. So, doing some of our switching. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, exactly. We had a very lost Santa Fe reefer train running through. Thank you, Jacques. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you're enjoying the stream, as I'm sharing my time down on Long Island for IslandOps. A lot of fun. It was a lot of fun being down there, and you can look forward to these kind of all edited together into a great big video on my channel sometime. I'm going to be starting from Drew James's op session last weekend and working my way through to Steve Gittleman's G-Gauge. So it's going to be, a while before you see these sessions. But basically, I'm going to try and get an op session out, a video on each op session out, one video a week for the next month or so. So. Trash train. Oh, I could totally see that for sure. So now we are to the point where we're watching the RIT guys trains again. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, we had all sorts of people. Oh, here we go. Now we're on the Chichester in Sweet Hollow. So the G gauge. You got Alex here too. Paul. Yeah, skip the briefing. There's Jim. Jim was the guy who set up IslandOps basically. So he's a good guy. There's Chester. It's Steve's dog. Chester, very sweet dog. Sounds good, Mother Slug. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your expertise and knowledge. It's always great to hear from old heads like yourself, helping us to, learn all there is to know. So, thanks for tuning in tonight. Have a great one, and hope to see you around. All right, let's jump through some of these Bud Car clips, because the Bud Car is cool and all, but I want to get to some of the big trains. Some Mikado. There we go. Here goes our train out of Barnesville, which, as you can see right here, is literally coming out of the wall of the barn. Here's in Barnesville. Oh, there were a couple times where I forgot I put the lens cap on this camera, and so I started off with the black because while I definitely do enjoy getting video of these op sessions, priority number one is always running trains. So let's see if we can get some good video here. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. This gives you a good sense of scale for how big this train is. And this is because this is as we're going into the first loop as we go up the hill. I don't know how watchable that would be, Paul. That might be a little nauseating. Or we get me one of those head-mounted face cameras like Francis Bourgeois has as I'm doing the ops. Oh, that would be funny. But yeah, so you can see just how long of a train that we are hauling. This thing is a big, long train. There's our helper power. Oh, gross. I'll need to cut that audio out. There's our helper engineer, Dom. Great guy. I've actually had some discussions with him online beforehand, and it's good to get to know him personally. That was a theme for the weekend, was getting to know guys personally that I had conversations with online. Yeah, this was a serious railroading endeavor. This grade, there was like 3.2% grades. I mean, you can see. Yeah, they probably, I don't know, 50 feet of mainline run here. We jump 2 feet. Actually, I don't know. I'm not good at. I'm not good at radiuses and then calculating circumferences based on just looking at a radius, but this is actually where we got stuck on the grade here. I think right about here is where we get stuck and we start spinning. Let's see. Do I catch the moment on video? You can't see the locomotive, unfortunately. But, yep, we are coming to a stop here. I was slipping. This grade here we needed help on. So here we got 4 RS3s helping us. So this is the 4 RS3s pulling the train with the 4 RS3s coupled to a 2882, coupled to a like 40 car train, 30 car train, something like that, coupled to a 282 with a caboose. And we just had them basically pull us through the end of the siding up here. We said afterwards that we probably could have gotten traction if we just tossed a little bit of dirt under the wheels on the lead engine of the 2882, lead power pack. So here goes a big boy past us. It's big boy, is it the Challenger? I think it's a Challenger.
And it operates like a real railroad.
Might just be, actually, Paul. I don't know. Here we go, crossing the grade crossing with the grade crossing signal. Oh, that's where the camera died. Which was very unfortunate, because that would have been a great shot. This is a pretty good shot here. Oh, this was actually a very interesting shot, because we started slipping again. Let's see, we come to a stop again. And then we give a little push. And then we get moving again. So this is a lot of fun. So then we get towards, oh, actually, I do want to show this off, because this is cool. So I was talking earlier about how there's actually dumping the gravel under the trestle. Here is that dump job. It's Ed and James dumping their gravel under the trestle at the end of the railroad here. And you can see it's actual, functioning side dumps carrying a lot of gravel in each one, a good load. And there were, I think, 8 or 9 of these 6-car strings.
Yeah,
Maybe, Paul. I don't know. But this was a lot of fun, I tell you that.
there are like 8 or 9 industries on it.
I'm going to have to figure out what my future is going to look like as far as what I'm going to go to. Well, I guess I'll figure it out as we go. So this is the Vanderbilt. This is the New York Central streamlined passenger train that was running on the layout. It's not really based on anything real. It's just, streamlined passenger train. It's another dump job. Here comes a 282 Mike moving around in the yard. So around this time, it started lightly drizzling. That's a problem, because especially the diesels all have open fan grills and everything on the roof. If rain gets in there onto the decoders, it's a big problem. So the order of this time was basically get every train from the yard down to the barn. But you still have to, pay attention to the tracks and make sure there's no acorns on the tracks, or make sure there's no sticks on the tracks, and make sure there's nothing, blocking, and make sure all your switches are in line or whatever. But we were basically given clearance from the top of the layout to the bottom of the layout. So that we didn't have to worry about stopping in sidings or anything. But we were kind of flying down the hill here. Here we go. This is a good shot. There's my engineer. I was the conductor on the run down the hill. So I would run ahead and make sure our switches were aligned and everything, and then set up my camera. Look at us flying down the grade here. Scale probably like 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour. It's just so cool. Yeehaw, indeed. There we go. You can start to see rain on my camera here. I didn't notice it at the time. Here comes this is the gravel train coming down the hill. And then we only got a couple more videos here. And then we'll go to sleep. There's the gravel train coming down. You can see it's a four unit lash up of, I guess those are F3s. Because they don't have the far grills. And this is how long the gravel train was. And then imagine another 6 locomotives on it, 4 in the middle, 2 on the rear. And that's what the gravel train was. And you can hear the wheels squeaking. It's because the weight that they carried to the run, you know, they have to replace these wheel sets pretty often. They have to oil the bearings pretty often. But that's how long the gravel train was. Now imagine that whole thing filled with gravel and going up 40 feet of elevation change. The top of the layout is higher than this point on the barn. So it's pretty cool. And then here's the last train down the hill. Dom was rushing to get it down, but we did have to stop. I kind of walked up with Dom and walked around with him to wrap up. I got some nice pacing shots here of his mic. Well, it's not his mic, but he was the engineer of the mic. Sort of started to let it kind of go past me. But we did have to stop before we got down to the bottom because there were some cars that didn't get picked up. So we had to stop and throw them onto the head end. But it was a lot of fun. So, and that's the last video right there. So perfect timing, Paul. So I had a phenomenal time. It was so much fun. I can't explain how great it was. So look forward to seeing these videos edited together, you know, really cleaned up and put together for you all coming to the channel in the next month to month and a half, depending on how long it takes me to get these edited. But hopefully you'll have the first one out by this time next week. And we'll hopefully be getting one a week each from there. So with that, I will go ahead and do this. Do this. Bam. There I am. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I don't know if you could tell, but I was having a blast rewatching these videos and reliving my time down there. It was so much fun being down there, and if you have the opportunity to ever, I highly recommend doing an ops weekend, whether it's IslandOps, Ops 2 Drop, you've got High Green out in Massachusetts, you've got River Rails out in Missouri, I think, or Montana, one of those M states, I can't remember, or Wisconsin maybe, I don't remember. And you got ops around the clock up in Rochester area. So if you get a chance to do an ops weekend, highly recommend it. They're very tiring, but they are so much fun, and you get to meet so many great people. So with that said and done, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you all get some rest. I know I will be getting some nice solid rest tonight. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed my recap of IslandOps, Next week, I promise we'll be back to actually doing work on models on these live streams. I know it's been a couple of weeks of reviewing videos and pictures and stuff, but it was a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning in tonight. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys on the next track. Have a good one, y'all.